hello again. This is still Engineer Louie Alcarde from MIDAS IT Philippines. And now naman po, we will be having our last and final tutorial video, the tutorial 4. Ito po yung 2-column hammerhead pier that we can find in our website, yung tutorial. But anyways, I will still be doing the tutorial video for this para mas easy for us to follow. Now, I have already opened a new file here. As we can see, nandito na po siya, open a new file. And of course, already saved this. Named it tutorial 4, as you can see there in your screens. Na tutorial 4 po siya. After opening a new file, opening a new project, and saving it so that nakapag auto-save na po siya, we will be using kilonewtons and meters for our units that we are going to use in this particular tutorial. Now, after that, we will go directly to our properties tabs. Unlike the previous tutorials where dun po sa mga ibang tutorials 1 and 2 and 3, we started with structure and node elements. But in this particular tutorial, we will begin with our properties. Now, our properties tabs, we go to our material properties. We click on that, and we only want to add material for this particular tutorial. We will only add material. We will not touch section and thickness on this one, so only material. Just click on add for that. Ang gagamitin po nating material this time is gonna be concrete. Make sure na material ID is already one type of design. It's gonna be concrete. Gagamitin po nating standard is ASTM-RC. And sa database naman po, ang gagamitin natin is grade C3000. So that means 3000 PSI ang capacity ng concrete na gagamitin natin. And we can just click on OK for this. As we can see, we have already added one material, which is grade 3000 concrete material. And we can just choose to close this. Now we will begin with creating the pier base with plate elements. Okay, so after doing that, we will touch this menu tab in here, menu tab. We go to geometry, and after going to geometry, clicking on the plus sign beside geometry, we go to structure wizard, plus sign pa rin, and go to plate because we will be creating plates first. Double click on that. Now, sa type na gagamitin natin, we will be using the circular plate. Sa radius naman, we will input 0.8. That's 0.8 meters. Material, this is gonna be material 2. Ang thickness naman is the first thickness, which is 1. And then we can go to our edit tab after that. Our edit tab. Sa edit tab naman, number of divisions yung gagamitin natin. Hindi po size, so number of divisions. For M naman, we will input 16. Ito po yung M, N. Ang N naman, we will put 4. And after doing that, we go directly to our insert tab. Sa insert point naman, we will put this on -400. Alpha degrees, we will use -90. And we will click show number. Kita po natin yung number. And yung origin point naman is we will use origin point number 3, yung nasa 0.80 and 0.8. And after clicking that, we can just click on OK. So we have created this. We can go to AutoFit. to check auto-fitting. Auto-fit na siya. Let's go to top view. So this is the top view of what we have created already. And we make sure na naka-toggle off po yung ating point grid and point grid snap. Ito po, naka-off po silang dalawa. So that's just it. Now we go to the group tabs. Ito po yung group tabs. Now, after clicking on this, meron makikita po tayong structure group. Let's right-click on this one and click on New. And papangalanan po natin itong circular column. Then, after doing that, we will select all of this. Ito po yung select all. After making sure that they are all selected, we will drag and drop this one para po ma-consider all of this as our circular column. So we will drag and drop. So as we can see, dito sa circular column natin, we already have 65 nodes and 64 elements. Yan pong 65 nodes and 64 elements, we can check on that here. Meron po tayong 65 nodes as we can display our node numbers. And we can display also our element numbers. Meron po tayong 64 in all in there. Now, after doing that, you can just uncheck or unselect node and display numbers. Now, after doing that, we will now create our nodes. So, go to Node and Element tabs. Click on Create Nodes. Make sure na naka-create nodes po ito. Sa coordinates naman, we will create nodes on -300. Number of times, it's gonna be 1. And ang distance naman po is 0, 1, 0. That means 1 meter on the y direction and 0 on the x and z directions. So after doing that, after making sure that all these values are here, we can click on apply. As we can see, we have already added 2 nodes out there. Makikita po natin meron po tayong node 66 and 67. Now after doing that, we go back to creating our nodes. This time, sa coordinates naman, we will use -4, 1, 0. And number of times naman natin siyang i-copy is gonna be 0. So, what we will create is just one node without copying it. So, 0 lang. Ang distance niya naman, still the same. We will not touch this. And just click on apply. We can see that we have created node number 68 up here. So, after doing that, after creating our nodes, we will divide the nodes now. So we can just click on the drop-down menu here and select divide nodes. Now, in dividing our nodes, we will select equal distance. Number of divisions po nito is gonna be 3. And we will make sure that we have naka-on po ang ating node number. Toggle on po, node number, so we can see the node numbers in our work or in our model. Now, sa nodes to divide naman, we will just click this, and once na green na siya, that means MIDAS Gen is already asking us to select the nodes to divide. So the first two nodes that we will divide are node 66 and 67. So we will just click on them consecutively. First click on 66, then click on 67. Now we can see that we have divided the nodes into 3 divisions by creating another 2 nodes in between. Now after doing that, we will create another 2 nodes or another 3 divisions between 67 and 68. So we can click here and click on node 67 and 68 consecutively. So we can see that we have created 3 divisions and another 2 nodes between 67 and 68. So I hope so far nakakasunod pa po tayo. After doing that, we will be creating our elements now. So we go to our element tabs in here. We do not have to go here if we want to be familiar with how the tabs in here work. So we should try to practice it in this particular tutorial. So we go to our element tab in here and we will create elements. As you can see, meron po tayong number of selections in here, but for this particular activity or for this particular part in our tutorial, we will create elements. And sa element naman, element type, we will be creating plates. So we make sure na 4 nodes po and thick. And of course, yung material 1 ang gagamitin natin, which is grade C 3000. Thickness is 1. We can leave that at that. And sa nodal connectivity naman, we will be creating the plates here, like what we did in tutorial 3. So let's click on the box under nodal connectivity, and pag na-green na po siya, that means MIDAS Gen is already asking us to select the nodes where we want to create our plates. So we will be creating our plates in this manner. Node 66, 69, node 9 to node 5. We can see we have created a plate, another plate in there, another element. Next is we will create 69, 70, 13, 9, another plate number or element number 66, and so on. So we will just be creating these nodes in here. Lastly, ito po. Okay, so I think after creating the elements or the plates on that side, we will now go back to this part, to this tree menu in here. Create elements pa rin po tayo, but this time we will not be creating a plate, but we will create a truss. Make sure na naka-check po yung node intersection natin. And sa nodal connectivity naman, we will be selecting nodes 66 to 67. So we created a truss in there, pero hindi pa po natin siya nakikita. So what we can do is to select, dito sa MIDAS, we have a choice to select recent entities, yung recent na ginawa natin. Ito po yung button niya. Select recent entities for shortcut. It's gonna be Control R to select written entities. So we can just click on this. So you can see we have selected that part. And after selecting that, we can now extrude that element. We choose Extrude Elements. After extruding elements, extrude type is going to be line to planar element. And let's make sure na naka-check po yung remove, so that ma-remove po yung truss na create natin and we can translate that into a plate. So element type is going to be a plate. Make sure na naka-thick yung type. Generation type is translate. Equal distance, gagamitin natin dito is gonna be 0.500, and number of times natin siyang ika-copy, or ita-translate, it's gonna be 6 times, and we can just click on apply. You can see we have created, or we have translated the truss that we have created here into 6 plate elements there. So much for that. After doing that, we will be going back to creating elements. Let's create the elements. This time, balik po tayo sa truss. Katulad po ng ginawa natin kanina, we will make sure na naka-intersect yung node. Nodal connectivity, we will create the truss between nodes 68 and 96. Yun po yung node na nasa dulo. So, we have created a truss in this particular area that we cannot see yet. But, again, we will turn off our node numbers this time. And select po tayo ng recent entities. So, na-select po sila. After selecting the recent entities, we will extrude na naman, like what we did earlier actually. So, extrude elements. Again, line to planar element siya. Make sure to remove the source, yung truss, we will remove that. Element type is plate. Equal distance pa rin po. Translate, equal distance. And this time, on the y direction naman po yung 0.5. And we will create this 5 times. And we can just click on apply. So we see here that we have created this model of ours. So I hope at this point in the video, yung mga nanonood or ikaw na viewer, you're catching up. Hindi naman po sana ako masyadong mabilis on teaching you how to do tutorial 4. So I hope na nakakasunod. Now, after doing that, we can just close this and go back to our group tabs. After going back to our group tabs, we can select all these elements and just unselect itong circular column. So how can we unselect the circular column? Right click lamang po tayo dito sa circular column and just choose or click on unselect. So you can see, ito po yung circular column natin, na-unselect na po siya. So, the rest of our model is selected. Now, after doing that, we can mirror our elements. We can click on this, mirror elements. And ang mode is to copy. Make sure to, ang reflection is on the ZX plane. 0 meters, and just click on apply. So what we did is ang elements na sinelect natin dito kanina, we mirrored it to and copied it here dito sa kabilang dulo on the XZ plane. So after doing that, we can another function na dito sa MIDAS is we can select previews. Ito po yung button to select previews. So we can just click on that. We can see na select po yung previously selected na members or elements or nodes ng ating na previously that we have selected. So after doing that is we will make sure na naka-copy pa rin yung mode. And this time, nasa YZ plane na po tayo. But we will put -4 in here. -4 only. And we can just click on apply. And after clicking apply, makikita po natin na the elements and the nodes that we have selected in here are copied or are mirrored to this part of our model. Now, lastly, we will be creating the last part in here. So, ang gagamitin po nating function is to select the recent entities, yung pinakabagong entities po ng ating model. So, click on recent entities. So, naselect po sila. After doing that, we make sure na naman na we go back to ZX plane. And on the Y direction, it's 0 meters, and we can just click on apply. So there you go, we have created this part, I mean this, our model. So just that. Okay, so after doing that, we will just close this and go back to our group. Now, sa structure group naman po, we have 1 this time, but we will add other groups. So we can right click yung structure group and click on new dot dot dot. After clicking on new dot dot dot, lalabas po itong define structure group. Papangalanan po natin itong coping. And ang suffix naman for this is 125. And we can just click on add. So you can see here that we have added 5 groups named coping 1, coping 2, coping 3, coping 4, and coping 5 as we have directed in here. Now, after doing that, we can just close this, and so coping 1 naman, we will be assigning this. Double click lang po natin, and we will select by window for coping 1. Now, on coping 1 naman, this is the area that we want to have for coping 1. Ito po sila. Sorry. Okay, so that is coping 1. We'll be dragging and dropping this to here. Oops. Select the window again. Ito po yung ating isa-select lang. Ito lang po pala. So after selecting that part, we will drag and drop coping 1 to our model view. So we can see that this part, if we select that, ito po yung ating coping 1. We have 173 nodes and 156 elements within that group. So we can unselect that. And after, we will choose our coping 2. Ito po yung ating coping 2. From here to here. There. So, after doing that, same pa rin po, we will drag and drop coping 2 here. You can see we have added 49 nodes and 36 elements in coping 2 in that particular group. Next is coping 3. Ito po yung nasa gitna. Yung circle. Yan. So, again, we'll drag and drop coping 3. And we can see that we have created 89 nodes, or we have selected 89 nodes and 84 elements under coping 3. So, for coping 4 naman, this is going to be this part. Okay. So, coping 4, we will drag and drop. So we have selected 28 nodes and 18 elements in coping 4. And lastly, for coping 5, we'll be using this and drag and drop coping 5. You can see we have under coping 5 we have 28 nodes and 18 elements, same as coping 4. So after making sure that we have created our groups, we can go to our isometric view or ISO view. There, we can see that, and we can select all. After selecting all, what we will do next is to extrude these elements. So click on Extrude Elements. Now on extruding elements, we will, sa extrude type naman, we will be making planar to solid element. And we will check move because we want to move the source, not remove it. We want to move it. So make sure element type is solid. Material number 1 yung gagamitin. And under generation type is we will translate equal distance at 0, 0, 0.5. That means 0.5 on the z direction. Number of times that we will do this is 4 times. And we can just click on apply. So we can see here that we have created this model out of the first model that we have by just extruding the elements. Now, after doing that, we can go back to our group. So we can just close this. Punta po tayo dito sa group. We will double click circular column. Double click po natin ito. So we can select the circular column that we have created. And after double clicking on that, after selecting the circular column that we have, again, we will extrude this. Let's click on Extrude Elements. Now, dito sa extrude type naman, it's gonna be a planar element to solid element. Let's uncheck remove. We will uncheck that so that ang source ay hindi po matanggal dyan. Element type should be solid still. Material 1 is yun pong ginagamit natin na material grade C3000. We will, under generation type, we will translate. And dito po tayo sa thickness. Make sure na equal po siya. Number of times is gonna be 12 times. And ang thickness po na gagamitin natin is 0.5 meters. And ang direction po is on the positive Z direction. So we can just click on apply. So we can see here that we have created or we have extruded our circular column in that particular way. So we go back to our group, so we can just close this. Group naman po tayo. And let's click on, double click on coping 1. Double click po natin siya and we will translate these elements. Translate elements naman po tayo. Click on translate elements. So make sure na translate elements nung nandito. And mode is to move. Equal distance. This time we will be moving it 8.5 meters on the Z direction and click on apply. So we can see that we have moved the coping 1 elements nasa taas, yung coping 1 group. So after doing that, we will just select yung nasa taas lang. Select by window and activate this. After activating, we go back to our node tabs in here. We will translate our nodes this time. Now we're translating our nodes. Punta po tayo sa select single. So you can see nandito po yung nodes natin. There are so many nodes within this particular group. So we cannot just see kung ano, saan po natin, anong nodes ang kailangan nating i-copy. So we will just use this node selection. Click lang po natin itong box dito and we will select nodes number 2768 and 2745. So after clicking on enter or pressing enter, we can see that na-select po ang mga nodes na nandito sa gilid. That is our nodes 2745 and 2768. Now, after selecting that, we make sure na ang mode is copy. Equal distance. Now, sa equal distance naman, this will be 0, 0, negative 1.5. Number of times natin siyang i-copy is gonna be 1 time only. and we can just click on apply. So we can see that we have copied those nodes on the negative 1.5 meters on the Z direction. Now, after doing that, we go back to select single. We will be selecting another pair of nodes. Ang mga nodes na ito ay 2748 and 2694. Press enter. So we can see that we have selected these nodes in here. Now, yun pa rin po, we will be translating these nodes, copy, equal distance, but the distance this time is going to be negative 2.5 on the Z direction. How many times natin siyang i-copy? One time only. And we can just click on OK. So we can see that the nodes that we have selected are copied on the negative 2.5 meters below, because negative 2.5 meters below, because we inputted negative 2.5 on the Z direction in here. Now lastly, we will select nodes 2706 and 2679. Press enter. Now we can see that we have created those nodes. We have selected the nodes na nandun. Again, copy, translate nodes, copy, equal distance. This time is only gonna be negative 2 meters. How many times? Only one. And click on apply. So there we have created the nodes. As we can see, just to check kung magkakapareho pa po tayo ng nodes na I can click on display node numbers. You make sure there na node numbers are all similar to what you are seeing in your screens. So after doing that, we go back. We can just close this. Pwede na nating i-undisplay yung node numbers and close this tab. We go back to our group. Now, after doing coping 1, we will be doing coping 2. We double click on coping 2. So yan na po siya. Next, we will extrude coping 2, this group, particular group, extrude elements. This is planar to solid. Make sure extrude type is planar to solid element. Check on remove. Solid, yung element type. Material is 1. Generation type, instead of translate, we'll project it. And projection type is project on a plane. And after clicking, we will be clicking P1. Yan pala. Kailangan nating i-on itong ating node numbers so that we can see. P1, ito po. We will select this for P1. P2 is 2770. P3 is node 2772. There. So direction naman, we will use direction vector. And this is 0, 0, negative 1. And we can check divide. And number of divisions is going to be 5 meters. 5 divisions. So we can click on apply and see what happens. Oops. Okay, my bad. We will not select pala. P1, ito. P2, ito. And P3, ito. We will not select them. And just click apply. Oops. Okay. Let's go back. Sorry for that. Balikan naman po natin yung steps na ginawa natin kanina. Project on a plane. Yung P1, ito. P2, ito. Yung P3, ito. Direction vector. Negative 1. Divide. Number of divisions is 5. And we click OK. So we have created that part of our of our pier already. Now we can go back to our group again, close this. Coping 3 naman po tayo ngayon. Again, we will extrude that. Still, plane to solid element, planar element to solid element. Remove pa rin po. Solid, material number 1. This time naman generation type is translate. Equal distance. We will be using negative 0.5 on the z direction. Number of times we will do this 5 times and click apply. So you can see that. Okay, so after doing that, let's go back to our group. We can close this group, double click on coping 4. Kita po natin coping 4. Again, extrude elements. Extrude type is planar element to solid element. Check on remove. Solid, material number 1. Again, project na naman po tayo. Project on a plane. And this time, we need this again. P1 is node 2771. P2 is 2774. P3 is 2773. After doing that, direction vector na naman po. Negative 1 on the z direction. Divide. How many number of divisions is 5. And click on apply. There you go. Now lastly, we can close this and select coping 5 by double clicking on it. And extrude elements pa rin. Planar to solid element. Remove. Solid. Material 1. Generation type is translate. Equal distance. Distance on the z direction is 0.4 meters. How many times? 5 times pa rin. And we can just click on apply. So there you go. We can see that we have created that part of our structure. Para po hindi magulo, we can turn off the node numbers, toggle off node number display. And after doing that, we can just activate all. So ito po yung nabuo nating model so far. Now, we will select by identifying elements. Ito po, select elements by identifying. So just click on this. Now, we will be double clicking on plate. Just click on plate and add, and just yun po yung plates kasi natin. And we can just close this. After selecting those, we can now delete those elements. Delete elements and just click on apply. Now, after doing that, we will just click on mirror. We will mirror the elements. Mode is to copy. YZ plane. 0. And after doing that, we select all. So, na-select po natin lahat. After selecting all, we can just click on apply. So there you go. We have mirrored the elements as you can see in your screens right now. Yan na po yung ating 2-column hammerhead pair. But we are not done yet. We will be, after doing that, we go to our structure tabs. Let's check for duplicated elements. Ito po yung check for duplicated elements. You can see here in our message window that there are no or 0 elements have been deleted. Therefore, wala po tayong duplicated elements there. And we can also check our free edge. Display free edge. Ito po yung mga free edges ng ating structure. and we can just undisplay that, and there you go. Now after making this, after being done with our modeling, this is our model already. We are done with the modeling part. Now we go to the load application. So we go to our load tabs and static load cases. Now sundin nyo lang po yung ilalagay ko. Self weight, type is dead load, and just click on add. The next name we will put vertical load, and dead load pa rin po siya. We click on add. Lastly, we will be adding a seismic load, and type niya naman po is of course earthquake, since it is a seismic load. And just click on add, and we can just close this. Now after doing that, we go to our load tab in here. Make sure na naka self weight. Load case name is self weight. We will put -1 on the z direction because we want MIDAS to analyze the self weight to be on the -z direction. So we can click on add. As you can see in our works tree, we have added a self weight there, which is on the z direction, -1 on the z direction. Now after doing that, select by plane naman po tayo. Ito po yung select by plane, as we have already learned how to use this on the previous tutorials that I have uploaded in YouTube. So ito po, select by plane. This time we will select XY plane, and on the Z position we will put 10.5. Just click apply. Ito po yun sila, and just close this. We will activate that, and we go to our top view. So ito po yung ating yung nasa pinakataas ng ating pier. So we go to select window, hindi po pala yan. Select by window, ito po. We will be choosing ito, these nodes here. Okay, select naman po tayo. Let's begin again. Select this, and this. Those nodes lamang po. This and this. Okay. So after selecting those nodes, we will go to node tab, and we go to nodal loads. Loads pala. Nodal loads. And this time we will use a vertical load. Options is to add that. On the FZ naman, FZ we will put negative 43. That's for negative 43 kilonewtons. Negative because it's going to the negative Z direction. And click apply. So we can see here that we have created, or we have applied 24 nodal loads dun sa mga sinelect natin. So yep, after doing that, you can just click to on display that, go back to our top view, and we will again select by window. Ito po, yung nodes kanina, itong particular 3 nodes dito, we will be applying seismic load this time, but 0 on the Z direction, and Fx is 51.6 kilonewtons, and we can just click on apply. So we can see here that we have static load, seismic load cases. Meron po tayong tatlong nodal loads. We can choose to display that. Nandun na po sila. And also that. So after making sure na nandun na po sila, we can activate all. Go to activate all. Activate na po lahat. And let's go to select plane naman again this time. XY plane, and Z position is 0, so we can go to the lowest part of our, to the bottom of our structure. So click on apply and close this. You can see we have selected all the nodes na nasa bottom ng ating structure or ng ating model. And now we will go to our boundary tabs to define our supports. Now in defining our supports, options is to add the supports. We will just click T all and just click on apply. So we can see here that we have created 709 supports of type 1. We can display those and undisplay those if you want to. Now after making sure that we have our supports, we have defined our static load or assigned our static load cases, each of them, we are now ready to perform our analysis now. So we go to our analysis tabs, and sa analysis options naman, we make sure lang na we will click or we choose multi-frontal sparse Gaussian, and just click on OK. And after making sure na na-select po yun, we will just perform the analysis. Okay, so now we can see that we have it here. We are already in our post-processing mode because we have already performed the analysis on our structure. And so we go to the results tab this time. Now after going to the results tab, we will create our load combination. So click on load combination, and papangalanan po natin ng load combination natin is gonna be LCB1. Make sure na ang type is add. Ang load case naman, we will select self-weight with a factor of 1. Another is vertical load with a factor of 1. And lastly, seismic load with a factor of 1. Now, making sure na nandito na po yan lahat. We can just close this. And we can go on now to our results and check our deformations. Let's check our displacement contour. Now, ang load case combinations naman na gusto natin makita ay yung ginawa natin kanina, LCB1. We will select that. DXYZ, deformation in X, Y, and Z. Let's check contour. Let's check on legend. And we can click on apply. So we can see here that ito na po yung ating displacement contour ng ating ginawang model. So after that, we can also check the stresses. We go to stresses, click on solid stresses because ito po yung solids. Solid po yung ating model. Load case is LCB1 pa rin. LCB1, we will use UCS, current UCS, average nodal. We will select sig Pmax and click on check on legend and click on apply. So makikita po natin na ito po yung stress ng ating model due to our loads after performing the analysis. Now lastly, I mean not the last, we can also check this one. Go to structure tabs and let's click on named plane. So lalabas po ito. Papangalanan po natin ng plane 1 and YZ plane, we will select this. X position is, let's put -4. Tolerance is let's say 0.001 meters. And after doing that, we click on add. So ito po ang ating plane, as you can see. YZ plane, -4 meters on the X direction. Ito po sila. This is just to show you that we can check or name a plane kung ano po yung gusto natin basing on the plane type that we want. This is the YZ plane and yung position po niya galing sa origin, and of course yung tolerance, kung ilang meters po yung tolerance niya from the position that we want. So actually that is just for us to check. Pinapakita ko lang po sa inyo yan. We can go back to our results tab and sa stresses, balik po tayo sa solid stresses. Okay, LCB1 pa rin, UCS. This time we will click on element instead of average nodal. Still sig Pmax yung pipiliin. Let's click on contour, legend of course, and we will click on or check on cutting plane. After checking on cutting plane, lalabas po itong dialog window dito. Where we will choose plane 1 like yung ginawa po natin kanina. Choose plane 1 and also current UCS XZ plane. So we check on those two. After making sure we outline type, we will select free face and we can just close this and click on apply. So there you go. This is the solid stresses basing on the plane that we have selected. On the plane 1, which we have named earlier, and on the XZ plane. So ito po sila. Now, after checking on that, we can go to our initial view. So this is our initial view. We go back to our structure tabs. UCS. Let's click on 3 points. Now, dito sa 3 points, papakita ko lang po sa inyo ito. 3, -1, -8. Point on x-axis will be 5, -1. Oops, don't forget the comma. -1 and 8. And a point on the xy plane naman is 5, -2, and 8. After doing that, we can just click on OK. And we can turn on our point grids and point grid snap. and go to our front view. So basically, we did not, we are not checking any results right now, but so ko lang po ipakita na we can also do this using our UCS or this function right here. So I think that's it. I hope na may natutunan na naman po tayo ngayon sa bagong tutorial ng ating bago and last tutorial for our tutorial course for RC. So I hope na you watch the previous videos that we have uploaded that I have prepared for you. So I'm hoping that after mastering the 4 tutorials, we are now really ready to put some applications on what we have learned from modeling to load applications and to checking the results of our models using MIDAS Gen, of course. Now, again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope na you will continue on exploring MIDAS Gen for your own purpose. May it be for your actual projects or may it be for school. It's up to you, and I hope na you will still explore more about MIDAS Gen. There's still much to learn about this software. So that's it. Again, Engineer Louie Alcarde saying that's it for now, and I hope to see you in our in the next videos that I will upload. Kudos and God bless.